If you're watching this live, you know a couple things for certain. One, that it's noon Eastern time on a Wednesday, which is always time for the High Noon Hemp Show. You also know that we're going to be talking about hemp. That's right, you guessed it. So if you're new, get ready. You want to know about hemp? You need to know the news about hemp. You need to know what Beach is wearing, all that good stuff. We're going to tell you all of it.
You want to know about
Just
hemp?
stay tuned.
News about hemp?
Hey, that's me. I sound awesome. You can find us in various places.
The echo effect.
That's right. Hey, I love listening to my own voice. It's great. Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page, of course. And if you want to find us on YouTube, that's a Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and X, Twitter, whatever you call it, at Temptations. Go check it out, share it, all of that good stuff. I am, hold on, I'll get our names up here. I am Stoner Jesus. You can find me in various ways on the interwebs. He is Beach in an undisclosed location, ready to talk about the aforementioned hemp. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Temptations?
You're chugging right along. So we are. Seems to be a pretty decent week in hemp for the most part. A lot of good news out there and stuff. Remember, folks, first and foremost, welcome to the High Noon Hemp Show. It is true. I am Beach. It is true. He is Stoner Jesus. And we are here every week for the High Noon Hemp Show. And it's all about hemp. All about hemp. That's right. Industrial hemp. So the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Let's just get that right out of the gate. Stoner, do you know what today is?
I know it's a very important day, but what specifically, what day is it, Beach?
Hemp Day.
Sweeping
Every Wednesday here on the High Noon Hemp Show, it's Hemp Day. So, that being said, let's get the pledge out of the way and get on with the show. Put our hands on our hemp, our peace signs on our hemp. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun, with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all.
Indeed.
All right. As you know, what comes next, if you've seen the show, is the product spotlight. So let's jump right into the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. 4 from the store and 1 from my doors, I like to say. So I showed the wall of hats last week, and I mentioned that there was 2 hats that didn't make the wall of hats, the picture of the wall of hats. So I thought let's go ahead and give those some props. It's the No Bad Idea. It's a wide brim hat, sun hat. I don't know what I should know the specific name for this. But it's got the strap to go under your chin. So if you're out on the boat or riding a motorcycle, it's going to stay on one way or another, I suppose. So I do have both of the. No, I think I have the black one because I have some natural colored ones. I'm going to have to dig those out to show you when it comes to my door. Some of my old wide brim sun hats. So, no bad ideas. Good stuff. The second one, the drinks are getting the rage all over the country. THC, industrial hemp THC drinks are the rage. They were the rage of no alcohol January. And they continue to be a rage. So we've got a whole cooler full of industrial hemp THC based drinks. These right here are the Squared brand. I love the grape. It is super delicious. I'm a big fan. Grape is kind of my favorite flavor of what I want to call sweet tart or tart sweet kind of flavor. The other one is an orange crush, orange cream kind of. I haven't tried that yet because that's not one of my favorites, honestly. I know some people love the orange cream drinks. And I know they're making, even Coke's like doing a vanilla cream thing anyway. But these are 5 milligrams. 5 or 10 milligrams tends to be the standard. And I think that's a good dose, one way or another. So, you need THC drinks. We've got a whole cooler full, and if you like grape or orange, bim bam boom, there you go. Hemp Traders Argyle socks. Might see more of these on the show. Wink, wink. In a moment. But if you need a nice pair of black Argyle socks, you can't go wrong. And so, again, those, I don't know if Hemp Traders are even still making those. But if you're looking for material or fiber material, Hemp Traders is a great place to look either way. So, Hemp Traders Argyle socks. And the last but not least are these little Planet Everywhere drawstring bags. They're just the cutest little bag. It's a good change bag, good little bag. Put your little stuff in there. You can probably get a nice little oneie or a pack of papers in there if that's what you prefer. But this is kind of more like a little bag you would probably put inside another bag, just to keep that stuff straight from the other stuff in the bag, if you know what I mean. It's all in the bag. But cute little colors, made right here at the Planet Everywhere Manufacturing Center when it was up and running in Cincinnati. The last one from my door, because it has gotten cold, is a good old picture. This is, Josie's in the studio audience every week, just so you know. Millie is also in the studio audience this week with me, but because of the cold weather and because Josie does not like the cold, she has a couple jackets. This one, Mary made this one for her, 10 years ago, probably. So this is kind of tried and true. And this is just kind of like a real soft jean material on the outside and a super soft hemp fleece kind of material on the inside. And then it velcros in the front and it goes up underneath her waist and velcros. So it stays on. But she definitely appreciates, she stays out just a little bit longer, I think. She still doesn't. She's like, you get fully dressed and probably not like the cold. But because it is definitely super cold, been a cold winter, we've been busting out her jacket. And there she is in all her glory. So, there you have it. 4 from the store, 1 from my door here on the High Noon Hemp Show from Planet Everywhere Studios, which moves around. It's a remote Planet Everywhere Studios that moves around.
Indeed. Which, of course, brings us to the, as of yet, award-winning segment, the Beachwear segment. And every week, because Beach has set various hemp records that we talk about a lot, and we've been chronicling, especially in the Beachwear segment, for over 6.5 years at this point, roughly. And we talk about the Guinness World Records people and their complete lack of interest in Beach is several hemp records. So half to prove a point and half to kind of like to say something funny. I always go to the Guinness World Records X page, which is at GWR. You can go look at it right now. I'm not making this up. To see what they are promoting, what Guinness is promoting, the world records are promoting as important records. And I'm not making this up. You can go look at it right now. New record, fastest time to drink a Capri Sun paper straw in parentheses, 7.95 seconds by Andre Ortloff. And they have his flag. I think that's Germany. I'm not sure. They actually have the video, the 8-second video of this guy drinking a Capri Sun in less than 8 seconds. I'm beginning to think that this is a joke, not like in a derogatory way, but like some cabal of rich people have created this just to mess with us and prank us. And that's, go look at it now at GWR on X. Anyway, that brings us to the Beachwear segment where I ask Beach one simple question. He tells me, and we chronicle continually on video the many hemp records that Beach has set and holds. When I ask Beach, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach, for the 290th episode? So by the end of this season, folks, you hang in there with us from season 25, we will get to 300 episodes.
Right.
Today is, of course, you may have noticed, if you're paying attention, today is, of course, a Kentucky Wildcat Wednesday. So when my Wildcats play on Wednesdays, then you get to see me supporting my Wildcats on the High Noon Hemp Show. So it's Wildcat Blue. Wildcat Blue. On the lid there, though, that's a Grassroots California hat. My shirt, or my jacket, I'm sorry, is, of course, a hemp hoodlam jacket. And I can get away, again, literally with just wearing a jacket and a t-shirt in this subpar weather. And these jackets keep me warm. And 10 degrees, I can be in a t-shirt with this jacket, and I will be warm. Underneath that is a Young Maven t-shirt. Speaking of the t-shirt, my pants are Patagonia. These are nice and thick too, so these are good cold pants. These are, but Patagonia, the big name brand, Patagonia. In my pocket there, you can see is one of my Green Springs Technology pens. Underneath it all, a pair of Hemptopia briefs. There's those Hemp Traders Argyle socks in action on my feet.
That's right.
Underneath those wicked boots. So this week it's Argyle socks and wicked boots. Fancy stuff.
That's right.
In my wicked boots. And now you know. That is the 290th different outfit. Might have worn some of those clothes before. Obviously, I've worn the boots before. You've seen those. Briefs before, maybe. But it is a mixture that has never been replicated, because every week I pick at least some, different hat, different socks, whatever it may be. 290 different hemp outfits. That's just on Wednesdays, folks. I do this every day. I do this every day. 365 days a week.
But I think the real question is, how fast can you drink a Capri Sun?
Right. While wearing a hemp outfit head to toe.
You have to beat 7.95 seconds or they don't care.
Yeah. I have to want to drink a Capri Sun, which is
Right.
probably not healthy in any
Hard
way.
to come within that.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. Yellow 4, red 12, green 8.
How fast can I drink 8 ounces of high fructose corn syrup through a tiny little straw? That's the miracle of it all.
That's right. That's what
if you can just pour it in your mouth, you could probably do it in a lot less time. But you get that tiny little straw.
Yeah.
And I like the way they said a paper straw.
Yeah.
Just to let you know it wasn't a plastic straw, which is great. Good for Capri Sun if that's what they're doing these days. I hate to admit it, but Stefan drank a little bit of Capri Sun back in the day. Not a lot, but a little. And again, the waste is the worst of it, honestly. Convenient, yes. Wasteful, unbelievable. Anyway, so here we are yet again. Hello, Herbs Now from Beach. Thanks for checking in with Stoner. All right. Well, here is another one of the Triple Beach commercials that I made years ago, and then we'll get back with some news.
Has just learned that Hemptations has the largest selection of hemp goods on the planet. Reporting live on location, let's go to Kenny Biss. That's right, Ima. As you can see, Hemptations has great hemp goods, as well as e-juice, vapes, books, and much, much more. All from a store you've trusted for 20 years. Now back to the Hemp Studio for the forecast. We are expecting highs in the selection region of Hemptations and lows in the prices, with more hemp to come. Back to you, Ima. That's Hemp News, having Hemptations for 20 years.
How those didn't win awards, I don't know.
Right?
That's a lot of production value for a short commercial.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I guess I didn't submit them to the commercial competition people back when I made them.
Award for that? Send them in
You know,
now.
just like
10 years ago.
usual, I got ignored.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 29 years into getting used to being ignored
Yeah.
for what I do.
I know Guinness won't care.
Guinness definitely won't care.
I don't give a crap about your commercials.
No, or the highest selection of hemp goods on the planet.
No.
So, all right. Well, you know, we've often talked about having to stop cutting down trees to use hemp as a wood supplement, which I think we could replace about 60 to 70% of the wood on the planet with hemp wood. I've talked about Hemp Wood, the company. They're in Kentucky. They've been operating for years and years and years at this point. It's kind of interesting to me that they're just now releasing this new color, which is natural. You know, most of the stuff, and I will have to say, you know, most of the stuff that I have seen from them is a much darker color, more of a brownish, darkish, still kind of with the light streaks in it. I mean, just, it's beautiful wood. It's beautiful wood. And they do flooring that's beautiful as well, made from hemp. And you know, they do like a 4x4 block that a lot of people lathe and make bowls and things like that out. I've seen all kinds of products made out of hemp wood from Hemp Wood, the company. So coming out with the natural color just now, I'm pretty sure they were voted the coolest thing in Kentucky, the coolest thing made in Kentucky. They beat out like the famous baseball bat and Louisville Slugger. They beat out Louisville Slugger last year for the coolest thing made in the state of Kentucky. Great products. Stop cutting down trees. Buy hemp wood. Use hemp wood. If you need to, all you gotta do is hemp wood. I'm sure they're hempwood.com. If not, just Google hemp wood and get yourself some hemp wood. It's so much better than cutting down trees. We're talking about basically the same amount of resources from 1 acre of hemp. They always said this about paper, but I feel like I'm just going to make the same equation, like 1 acre of hemp to 4 acres of trees. It takes 5 months to grow the hemp. It takes 15, 20, 25 years at the very least to grow a tree for wood or wood pulp for paper even. So let's use more hemp wood. I feel like as soon as, you know, how cool would it be? And I don't know, and I might even have to get with them to find out, is can you use a hemp wood 2x4 in a house frame, and then that is considered load bearing? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't know what if they've had that tested or whatnot. I have to look into it. But because we can't use hempcrete as load bearing, how cool would it be to build your hemp wood frame that is load bearing and then put it with hemp, and then you've got a 100%, basically pretty close to 100% hemp wall.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. We'll get there. Might be 10 years away, but we'll get there, and it'll be standard operating procedure if the construction companies care about the planet or realize how much they can actually save, probably in resources, by using hemp. Speaking of that, the Isle of Wight. Okay, in the Isle of Wight, I'm not even sure where that is. The companies, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly. Sydenham's Timber Engineering, and the GRWN Group are building houses in Cornwall. So I know that's over in the UK somewhere. I'm almost sure of that. From the article, I quote, GRWN's industrial hemp-based building materials offer residents high-performance, eco-friendly living without compromising comfort or convenience. And so that's not it, but I'll talk about that next. Speaking of hemp houses, I don't think they had any pictures of the Cornwell houses, but this is yet another development, and I think it's different. I want to say it's different. This is different than the development that I talked about probably like 6 months ago over somewhere, I'm pretty sure, in the UK, which is again where there were multiple dwellings being made from using hempcrete. And so there you have it. So, speaking of houses, this next house, they say they're the most sustainable home in the world. I don't know if they are or not, but they're probably again, one of the coolest hemp houses that's going to be built. I don't know. This may be artist rendering or a rendering. I don't know that it's positively built yet. The plan is there's actually 7 separate buildings, so to speak, or rooms that are going to be built out of hempcrete. And then they're going to be connected by a tunnel or hallway, either way. And again, the entire project is to be environmentally friendly, environmentally friendly sourced wood where they need it and things like that. But this is definitely goes on I can only hope it's the most sustainable home in the world, because it goes on the list of like one of the coolest homes on the world, period. And apparently, it looks over like some awesome mountain / valley or something. But, and again, the builders were looking to build the most sustainable home in the world. So they chose hemp because, if you do the research, whether it's you want a sustainable home or you want a clean home, clean environment, you do the research. Hemp is both when it comes to building material wise, and cleanliness of environment, so to speak. Oh, okay. So the endocannabinoid system is finally getting a little bit more attention. Well, I mean, of course it is, because we've had medical marijuana in, I don't know, we're like 75% of the country now. Not that they can really do medical studies. And, like I said on the show before, and it's still semi-true, the medical world, as far as education wide, doesn't teach much, if anything, on the endocannabinoid receptor system that all humans have. Okay. But now, and this is kind of, one of those things where, I will wholeheartedly admit, yes, cannabis isn't great for everything. The reason that this is happening is because we know that cannabis use can actually trigger, or we're finding out, I don't know if we know for sure, but we're finding out that cannabis use can trigger psychosis. Okay. So they're going to start studying the endocannabinoid receptor system more. And again, they may teach it in medical school because of this, because it may be a way to treat psychosis, is to address the endocannabinoid system as a major player in the body, and something that all doctors should know about, yet probably only the ones that are licensed to prescribe. And it's not really a prescription, it's a recommendation, licensed to recommend marijuana for medical use. So, and again, this was THC is the one that's doing this, but I think that this sheds light on the fact that, okay, there's 500 or so different ingredients, 500 plus at least different ingredients in cannabis. 17% of those, almost 20% of those, almost a fifth of those are cannabinoids. one way or I mean, there's a lot more out there than what we seem to be learning more and more about them. These others, very small players, but important in the whole big picture part. Other than CBD and CBG and CBN and THCA and THC, all very important cannabinoids that our brain knows what to do with when they're there. And our bodies, from head to toe, once again, that receptor system, the ECS runs through our bodies head to toe. CB1 receptor, CB2 receptor, and they kind of do different things in different places, but are highly effective in keeping the body in homeostasis. Oh, Texas. Oh, Texas, Texas, Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the amount of cannabis regulations that they're trying to pass. So the governor is, he's been pretty adamant about trying to make hemp illegal in Texas. There's, I saw 20 plus, 24 possibly different cannabis related bills in the Texas government. Now, whether they get discussed and voted on, I'm sure is a whole different thing. But they're there. And so if you're in Texas, and in all honesty, I don't think they need to change any rules. They may need to make some age restriction rules if they want to on certain industrial hemp products. But it's all legal there right now, and that's the issue. Is they're all worried about it. And once again, I think that this. I don't know, and I'm not picturing this guy being in the marijuana industry's pocket, but maybe he is, because these things tend to be driven now. This prohibition of intoxicating hemp or hemp in any form is mostly driven by the legalization or less prohibition of marijuana. It's just absurd. It's absurd. But, this could be a whole moral thing for this guy. Is Texas could be a moral issue, period. He's been talking about trying to ban these things and do this and that. And so we'll see how far any of this really goes, because it really hasn't gotten that far. Because other than, once again, banning, prohibiting in any way is a terrible idea. Terrible idea. Hasn't worked. Doesn't work. Prohibition doesn't work. Once again, you want to do age restrictions, I get it. You want to do product placement, I get it. You even want to do the goofy product packaging so it can't look like it's for kids. I'm whatever. Okay. I don't mind any of that, but prohibition never. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work. Once again, you're just going to ask people to go back to a black market for stuff, or to have to order it online, which is now, if you look at the one state that somehow has been successful at this prohibition of intoxicating hemp products, California. What does California now want to do? They want to put some excess tax on internet purchases of the products you can't buy in their state. So, you ban it, what happens? Your residents, your constituents, go online and just have it shipped to their door instead of going down to my shop or the corner shop or wherever. I don't care. I'm not against gas stations selling these products. If they're quality products, if they are what they're supposed to be, I have no problem with where they're sold. Okay? Just like if alcohol is legal, sell it wherever you want to sell alcohol. If tobacco is legal, sell it wherever you want to sell tobacco. Industrial hemp is legal, sell it wherever you want to sell industrial hemp. It's up to the retailer, i.e. me, to have a quality product, and that's true with anything. It's true with anything. It's not just the CBD industry or the industrial hemp, intoxicating hemp, whatever it is you want to call it, the flower products of industrial hemp. And so, watch out, Texas. But once again, this just shows what happens. California is proving what I said before: is you're just forcing people to go out of the state to purchase the products that they want to purchase. Again, totally legal to ship to California because it's federally legal to cross lines with these products. Okay. And so, as far as I know, the law in California is you can't sell this stuff. It doesn't say you can't buy it. It just says you can't sell it. So once again, you go to 30 other states to order the products. Ironically, I have a woman in Texas who orders our THC gummies. 100% legal. Legal in Texas. Legal for us to ship. And so, I'd love to have all those people that can't go down to their corner shops in California buying my stuff. I don't think anyway. But so we keep an eye on Texas. Keep an eye on Texas, and we'll see how California does now with this supposed tax on the product that they made illegal, but it's not illegal to buy, obviously, online. So now they're going to try to add an extra tax, which I don't even know. I mean, I guess it would be on the online retailer's responsibility to charge that tax and then pay that tax to the state. Now, how many places are going to do that? I don't know. California, go back to the way you were. I just go back to this pre-intoxicating hemp ban because it's just messing things up, and it's ridiculous. Well, have you ever wanted to go into a Hempy John? You might get your opportunity. It's been a while since I've posted anything about Goodvin Designs. She's been working with, mostly like small hempcrete stuff, which I love, designable stuff that people could afford to build. And, you might think, who needs to build this? But in Alaska, almost all bathrooms are outside, and they're mostly porta-john. They're not porta-johns, but movable outdoor bathrooms, outhouse as they call it. Gosh, I flaked on that. And so once again, I don't think you could really move this, so it's more or less permanent because again, you don't have to move it because it's not about digging a hole. It's a kind of a pot system, but the hempcrete would be warm. That would when you're, and again, I don't know how many times we were watching Buying Alaska, the show. And it's like they show like it's snowing and they're like an outhouse is out here, and I'm like, that is a ridiculous way to live. But maybe a hempcrete, maybe the old Hempy John, I think would be a little bit warmer. A little bit warmer, maybe if you're on the cool, outside. Might even be a little cooler if you're somewhere hot. I don't know. But it kind of works both ways either way. And also from Goodvin Designs is this little greenhouses. And so I don't know what part of this is hemp. Maybe the walls are hemp. Maybe even the floor could possibly be hemp. But if you are looking to build something small out of hemp, I definitely would, get in touch with Goodvin Designs. She's been doing great stuff for a while. I think she's going to start working with one of the hemp house builders in the country. as well. So neat stuff being built with hempcrete every day. Every day. So studies showed that orally ingesting CBD does not significantly impair learning or memory. So that is also good. Once again, showing that CBD, and we're just getting more and more proof, has no real physical side effects. And that being said, it obviously works where you need it to work. You just don't feel that. And, I've always said, the CBD is working when you don't feel anything, which is, the pain caused by inflammation has gone away. The anxiety caused by anxiety has gone away. But you don't have a buzz, and it doesn't affect your motor skills. There's been 2 studies now that have shown it does not affect your motor skills in any way, driving a vehicle. And now we're showing that it doesn't, affect your memory or cognitive thinking or thought processes. So, it's it. Every time I talk about it, I feel once again, I always used to just whenever I would get up on my soapbox and talk about industrial hemp and anything, I always felt like snake oil salesman because it all just sounds too good to be true. But again, science is proving me right. On every aspect, from food to housing to clothing to CBD. So, speaking of the endocannabinoid receptor that I was talking about earlier, so apparently we're going to find out if zebrafish get high because zebrafish, their endocannabinoid receptor system is really, really close to ours. And so, obviously ours go into our limbs. I don't know if theirs go like into their fins. And so they'll be able to, but they're really going to study that endocannabinoid receptor system because they can do it in the larva stage, or they can start at the larval stage all the way up through adulthood. And once again, pretty quickly. And obviously because they have the system that we know about, we can figure out whether we can negatively affect that system early, which is obviously one of the concerns with cannabinoid use in minors or before the brain is fully developed. That's why, I get it. Our brain has this system. I think that if a minor needed cannabinoids like CBD, then that's why their ECS system is going to work for them, and it's not going to deter the development. Now, THC may be a different matter. Federal government legalized THC so we can do better, intense studies on that. Then we will really find out whether zebrafish can get high. And so we'll see what this really gets us. I've never heard mention of, say, rodent endocannabinoid systems. I assume that they have them. That may be a false assumption. I don't know specifically, and I've never done the research, and maybe I need to find out what animals or fish or whatever do or don't have an endocannabinoid receptor system. I assume most mammals do. I could be completely wrong there that most mammals do. But I've seen success with CBD with my own dog. And so whether it works on a different level in the brain or not, or they do have that endocannabinoid receptor system, and that's why it works. Zebrafish obviously do, and it's very close to humans. So, I hope the zebrafish don't have to die to find out what we can and can't do with their endocannabinoid system. Either way. Da, da, da. So Mississippi is looking to pass a bill that will make testing hemp products intended for human consumption mandatory for THC content. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is they're allowing a 5% drink, basically 5% THC, or 5 milligram, 5 milligram THC drink. That's acceptable by weight. What they're doing, though, is they're manipulating the 0.3% equation. Okay, because the 0.3% is on the flower in the field. Most of the time, you actually have to test, literally have to test the flower in the field before you harvest, and then you have to test the plant at harvest or after harvest for that 0.3% by dry weight THC. That 0.3%, and again, this is a misinterpretation of the federal law. The entire state of Mississippi is misinterpreting the 0.3% by dry weight number that's, in the 2018 Farm Bill. Okay. What they're doing there then is, and again, I don't know. So if you want a 5 milligram gummy, how big of a gummy do you need to make for this stupid equation to work out? Is it just a regular size gummy? Can you put, I find it hard to believe that our gummies, say, are 10 milligrams per. They're pretty small. Now, by their standards, and I guess I'll have to weigh one and figure it all out mathematically, would our gummies be legal by those standards? And chances are they wouldn't. And again, that's not where the 0.3% is supposed to. It's not on the end product. All right? Because here we go again. All that's going to do is make consumers have to consume more of the product that the CBD is in or the THC is in, so that the wholesalers or the makers of the product will then have to figure out that weight. How much to get that 0.3% equation, how much does a 10 milligram gummy have to weigh? Okay. And once again, now you're getting all the stuff you don't really want, which is the rest of the gummy. Our gummies are made from very simple ingredients, but nutritional value of a gummy, only what's in the gummy, which is, what's funny is, you're eating a multivitamin gummy. The gummy itself is really not that healthy. Of course, you're only eating one, maybe two, so it doesn't matter. It's a very low amount of all those things. And again, I'd say that with the drinks, it's the same thing. I mean, I think other than just uncarbonated water, I don't know how healthy drinking a bunch of carbonated water is, slightly flavored or not, to get your THC. The drinks. So if you can only have 5 milligrams, if you want 20 milligrams, you have to drink 4 of them. Should you really be drinking 4 of any one particular sugary flavored? And again, a lot of the stuff we're seeing, and I really appreciate this in the industry, is they're using all natural sugars and natural flavorings and things like that, which is great. Does that mean everybody's going to do that? No. And so then all of a sudden, you're just infusing these current drinks with this stuff, and Nobody should drink 4 Coca-Colas in a day. 1 Coca-Cola, I might be okay with that, health-wise. 4 Coca-Colas a day cannot be good for the body. Just can't. And so, that's where I have an issue. And again, I'm almost guessing that when it causes dilemmas in Mississippi, if this bill passes and goes through, when it starts to cause dilemmas, it will yet be another thing that goes to court. Because this is science. This is the science of the definition of an industrial hemp plant in the United States of America. Okay? 0.3% by dry weight at harvest or around harvest. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with the end product. And I've seen other places not understand the law. And this is it. This entire state of Mississippi, these people in the government don't understand the federal law. And so I definitely think that it's easily challengeable. And then, go into court and bring science to court. And most more than likely, this particular law will be overturned because of how they're doing it. If they would have just said, put a limit, 5 milligrams on any edible, and 5 milligrams per gummy, that's not too bad. It's okay. I'm not too bad with that. But to try to regulate the THC content by weight, that's not how it's supposed to be. And again, it only causes a disadvantage to the consumer, in my opinion. If you can only put 1 milligram of THC in a gummy because of how it weighs in this equation, well, then you just have to eat more gummies. And so some people may be okay with that. It's hard to eat just 1 gummy, in my opinion. So maybe if you do want to have 10 gummies, but once again, you're starting to increase the amount of things that may not actually be that healthy to get the dose you want when you shouldn't have to do that. You're a freaking adult. You decide how much you want on your own. If you don't know, don't go out driving. Don't go out to the local bar and eat a bunch of gummies when you don't know how they affect you, which is something that we tend to joke about. The newest game Mary and I play at the bar is, did they eat too much? Did they have too many gummies before they came? Because you can tell a difference. It's not like they're drunk. It's a different whole thing. But anyway, adults should be allowed to do what adults should be allowed to do. And if we're doing something unsafe in the process, well, then hold us accountable for it, just like you do now. Again, it's don't try to prohibit us. It doesn't work. Well, I've said it again. Here's another rant on prohibition. It doesn't work. And it makes things so much harder to regulate than just allowing us as adults to decide. Prove it's harmful and then come to the table. Don't tell us we shouldn't have it for moral reasons or because you say it's unsafe without proof, which is what's been going on for almost 90 years. It's just, I think that's the one thing that just kills me is you can say something. As a politician, you can say something. And it's science. And they hate science because science is against God. But yet you say, marijuana is bad for you. And that's why we're making it illegal. That's good enough. Don't prove it. Because it was a medicine before you said it was unsafe for us. For thousands of years. And now it's the same thing. It's like, if they go to the table, well, we got to make intoxicating hemp illegal for the safety of the human. Like, with zero proof that intoxicating hemp is unsafe. It's just ignorance, honestly. And because there are a few of them controlling a lot of us, they get away with it. That's what you voted me into office for, was to represent you. And I'm telling you that I don't have any idea whether THC is unsafe or not, but I'm going to tell you it is, and I'm going to make it illegal. It's absurd. And I can't believe they still get away with it, but they do. And it just goes to show, they say, well, vote us out, vote, 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 vote. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Democrats, Republicans, they're all just looking out for their own interest, not our interest, their interest. Here's some fun products. We sell the Hemp Shield stain in the stores. I do have some cans of this if you need to stain some, but this is kind of neat because they have also Hemp Shield has a log home treatment. That's kind of cool. Go out and build yourself a log home and then treat it with hemp if you want to stain it. And then, of course, they also have wood cleaning products. Now, I have talked about a couple DIY restorations where they used hemp oil to clean and bring back the wood. And here's the products. Whether you're cleaning, finishing, whatever, if you're restoring wood in any way, here's the easy peasy products for you to get and use. Right there from Hemp Shield. Hemp Shield's been around a long time. This is the company that their products are obviously great because they have been around for so long and they continue to thrive. Again, environmentally friendly. We stained our above ground fish pond, and we stained some planter boxes. I'm gonna have to go back and find some very old pictures of these projects that we did, and I believe we may have restained a picnic table using hemp stain. But the hemp stain itself comes in multiple shades and colors. And then they have been expanding and are always seem to be expanding what they offer as products. Good stuff. Thank you, Hemp Shield, for doing what you do. Here's an interesting. These lamps are from an art installation. Now, both of these lamps are almost as tall as me. One of them's taller than me. One of them's just a little bit shorter than me. But what the entire installation was, and there was probably a dozen of these lamps all together, different heights and whatnot. But the fabric that wraps them is hemp fabric that's been sealed so that it stays solid. And again, this was an environmentally friendly art installation based on working lamps. I would be interested to know exactly what they treated the hemp with. That again, then makes it solid. But that's pretty interesting. And what I'm really kind of seeing there is now hemp as a cast material. So, now I think that the cast material, you break an arm, when they cast it, it's a cotton material that's mixed with a liquid that hardens, that gives you that. Now, to me, I'm picturing like we should be using hemp because, once again, hemp is antimicrobial, antibacterial. So why wouldn't you want to use a material that's microbial, antibacterial in your casts? It's, I mean, that's where all kinds of gross stuff happens in a cast because it's on there for a while and you can't clean it, And so I feel like that material would be great. And that's kind of what, that these lamps kind of remind me of that as far as what they're doing with the hemp on these lamps. So neat. How about probably one of the coolest hemp materials, graphene. So Premier Graphene Inc. Introduced a hemp-derived graphene solution for military protective gear and defense applications. Okay, they've made this graphene. The eco-enhancing deep green energy graphene improves military technology durability, efficiency, and sustainability. Okay, now I want to be clear. The military officers themselves cannot own this hemp stuff because you can't use hemp if you're in the military. But the military is loving to show that it will use hemp itself when it can provide a superior product, which it can, to what it's using now. And so I think, to use mined materials, I think I saw somewhere that making graphene out of hemp was like a 10,000th of the cost of making graphene from however else, natural, whatever they use, minerals or whatever, to make graphene. I don't know that much about it. I should, because hemp graphene has been around, at least talking about for a while, for batteries, to use a hemp graphene material for batteries. And so, the military is showing, again, because it's sustainable and just as good, obviously. It says it improves technology durability and efficiency. Improves it, and the military's using it. So, I mean, that's great for graphene and hemp, promoting it wise. And hopefully, wherever graphene is being used now, they switch over to hemp graphene. And go talk to Premier Graphene Inc. because they must have pretty good hemp graphene. I don't know how much longer if they just got their government contract, I don't know if they're still going to have it in 6 months. But we can only hope that it survives the current administration's budget cuts. Hopefully hemp doesn't get too affected by the budget cuts. I talked about that as far as grants go. There's millions and millions of dollars of hemp grants out there. As far as defense appropriations, is they're going to continue to want this graphene? Can only hope. All right. I don't know that I have ever seen a hemp recall in my 30 plus years of researching hemp. But here is what the first hemp recall that I have ever seen. And this is on low-jest hemp climbing ropes with the carabiner. They make them in different lengths. I think if I saw correctly, it was kind of interesting. There was like 22,000 sets of these sold in the United States. So if you're a climber somewhere and you're using this, and they've only seen minor breakage, and I don't know where that breakage was, and I didn't verify that the breakage was actually in the rope or the carabiner system. So I can't imagine the rope breaking. Like, I can't imagine it breaking. I just can't. So I really feel like maybe it's in the carabiner system, that they've had problems with it. But either way, if you have one of these, you can, I believe you can get a refund, or talk to them, see what's going on, see what's up. There's only 350 or so sold in Canada, a couple hundred in South America. I think I saw the majority of them, I believe, were sold here in the United States. Quite a bit of those, 22,000 or so. So if you're a climber, know a climber, ask them if they've got this low jest. Tell them to be careful, find out what's going on with it. Don't use it. Use the rope for something else, not to hold their life in their very hands, so to speak. I'm sure you can still use the rope for something. Just don't pull yourself up the side of a mountain with it.
There you go.
And I know I've seen other climbing ropes and things made from hemp. As far as a natural material, it's strong. It doesn't make it infallible, obviously. And again, it didn't say what was breaking. And so it could have been the carabiner issue, or the piece that's holding the carabiner on the rope itself. Maybe, I don't know, because again, I can't imagine it just breaking. And it didn't say that. It did say it was a breaking issue, but it didn't say like the rope. I don't know. I just can't picture that. But maybe. Either way, don't hold the balance of your life in the hands of the low jest rope right now. All right. Not much really going on. Don't forget that the first Tuesday of March, I don't know why I don't have that date on here. The first Tuesday of March, I believe, is going to be March 4th. That will be the medical marijuana meetup at Carrican Spirits Company here in Cincinnati. I missed last one. I will definitely be at the next one. I try not to miss as many as I can. It's a long drive for me now, but it's still worth it to go over and talk to people and talk about hemp, whether I'm teaching or learning. I don't think I've ever gone to one where I didn't someone wasn't like, man, you can really do that with hemp? Anyway, I didn't mean to sound like a hippie either. Get your plans for NOCO. That's April 10th through the 12th this year out in Estes Park, Colorado. July 25th through the 27th is the Stargazers Cannabis Festival here in Waverly, Ohio. Right now, for sure, they're going to have an interactive hempcrete workshop, and I am possibly working on a paper making workshop that I may do myself. If I can't bring in a master, and I know at least one hemp paper master maker. I think she's over in one of the New England states now, so I don't know how easy it would be for her to travel over. But if not, I think that I can do it. I think I can do it. And so I may be, or will probably be, helping with a hemp paper making workshop. So if you want to learn how to make hemp paper, honestly, it's semi super easy once you have the stuff. If you don't know, it's over the process of making paper is over 2,000 years old, invented by the Chinese using hemp. Okay, so they were, the original paper, made paper. Okay, because the original paper was what you might call parchment paper, which was really just like drying a leaf. It wasn't actually making a piece of paper. It was just using plants as paper. First time documented history of the actual making of paper was the Chinese, once again, 2,000 plus years ago. And hemp and paper was made out of hemp for about 2,000 years, up until 100, 150 years ago, and really about 100 years ago. Paper was made out of hemp. The first printed Bibles, the Gutenberg Bibles, were hemp. Benjamin Franklin printed his Franklin Press on hemp, we know for sure. But most paper, again, most papers, most books were using hemp. And the more I think about it now, I need to go and look at more, books that are 150 years ago and just see if I can tell a difference in that paper. So, but that's gonna be fun. That's July 25th through 27th in Waverly, right in the basically middle of Ohio, almost Waverly, Ohio. Stargazers Cannabis Festival. So it's all things cannabis, music, and all kinds of awesome stuff's going to be going on. So it's going to be a fun event. And then this one, I think I might have even sent the picture over for this one. October 3rd through the 5th is the Hemp Building Symposium that's going to be put on by the Lower Sioux Indian community out in Minnesota. And so this is one of those communities that is building multiple hemp dwellings in their community, growing their own hemp, building their own houses. And so they're really, really motivated to use this as a sustainable building material on the reservation, or I don't know if it, community. I don't even know if they call them reservations anymore. Sounds so negative. Either way, but this is yet another reason why hemp as a construction material can be so sustainable. It's because we don't have to, like concrete, you have to mine that sand. It comes from all the way around the world. I can grow the hemp to build my house with in my front yard. It's like, and again, we have seen cob, and I've talked about cob as a building material, which is basically a locally sustainable or collected materials to build with. And it's mud, water, and hemp. If you wanted to use hemp, you can use, I believe that, ancient cob material could be any vegetable matter, I suppose. And so, again, this is being able to, if you wanted to grow your own home. And so, grow it from the ground up, build it from the ground up. The materials don't have to travel very far. You still have to invest in that lime. If you can locally harvest I don't want to say the wood from the frames, because I don't know how I want to address that. Again, if we can use hemp wood, that would be awesome. Obviously, we don't use old growth anymore for wood material, which is great for the most part that we know of. It's all new growth. It's all farmed wood, but it was still farmed where they cut down old growth trees at one point or another. We just need to stop that, and we need to let the forests grow out again. And hundreds and 200 years from now, we can have old growth forests again because we're destroying them. So, hemp building is, it's super popular. If you want to, this is a 3-day hemp building symposium, and so. And again, they've been doing this. It's not something new to come October. They'll be a year or so, at least year and a half into growing and building hempcrete homes. All right. Well, there you have it. I don't have any questions. My thoughts were clearly, once again addressed throughout the show, as they normally are. So, thanks everybody for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. We will see you next Wednesday at high noon here at the Temptations Beach Facebook page, or maybe you're watching on YouTube or even on the old X, either way. And if you're watching later, that's totally okay. That's totally fine. You don't have to be with us live. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having Temptations.
See y'all next week.